All right, day 11 of our DIY custom van high top build. It's time to finish the roof today. You'll be seeing that process. That's kind of the big thing for today. We had to take a little time off this morning, go to Heron's house. They had a little electrical problem. We were trying to troubleshoot and solve for them. We're back at it. It's already into the afternoon. So we're going to see if we can get this done today. There's a number of different options for roof covering materials to hopefully make things waterproof, or at least more specifically in the industry, water resistant, so that it sheds water. Flat roofs are a little tricky. We did not go with a pitched roof because we didn't want to make it any higher than it already is, nor do we want to lose interior space to a sloped roof. So we don't want to lose interior space. We had to go higher. I didn't want to do that. So we went with a flat roof, which is pretty typical on RVs and things. Rubber roofs are very common these days. We could have done that. It's a bit more of a pain to install. It was going to cost twice as much as what we're doing, and there's more maintenance on it. You really have to keep those things conditioned, and you know, you really end up resealing them every year so you don't have leaks and stuff. And we spend a lot of time driving on BLM roads and Forest Service roads. And Forest Service roads are famous for some low-hanging tree limbs, which will decimate a rubber roof real quick in a hurry when you're up about 10 feet in the air. I don't have a final measurement of this thing yet. So we decided to go with metal. There's a few metal options. Generally these days, they don't say not to put metal on anything less than 2 and 12 pitch. We're at a, you know, basically a flat pitch. We're doing it anyways. We looked at both corrugated, the corrugated galvanized steel. We looked at corrugated PVC, but it was really too flimsy. I'm sure the first hailstorm or tree branch that hits is going to take it out. So it was kind of a toss-up between corrugated galvanized steel and flat galvanized steel. We went with a flat galvanized steel for a few reasons. It would actually be faster to put on the corrugated because we can get it 8-foot panels. We got a 15-foot roof, just overlap it a little bit, boom, we're done. It's harder to put roof protrusions in and things like if we put roof vents in, which probably we're going to be doing. That gets a little more tricky because you got this thing going. So we went with flat. It's going to be easier to maintain, I think, easier to install. Maybe it'll not quite as quick as the corrugated, but I think it'll be fine. I think we can put it on in such a way that we don't have any leak issues. You'll see all that in the process. And if we do have a leak issue, we'll fix it, or we'll do something else with it for the roof. So that's our plan. That's what we're going into. I've marked out already in pencil marks on the sidewalls where the rafters are approximately. I may have to add in some additional rafters only to support the metal roofing where we're drilling in. And it is 24-inch wide, and we got like, I don't know how many feet, 50 feet or something. I hope it's enough. So we're gonna go ahead and get started with that anyways, and you can see how we do it. As I've said in probably every one of these videos, there's many ways to build a DIY high top on your van, a custom high top. I've never seen two that are done the same, so we're doing this our way. And I think what we're doing with this roofing is going to perform nicely and work just fine for us. It'll be durable, so it's going to hold up to hail, or scratches from roof branches and whatnot, which is pretty important to us, but also I think it'll be waterproof. And like I said, if it's not, we'll fix it. But emphasis here that this is a custom thing, and we're offering this in these videos as kind of like inspiration and some educational components, informational components, and hopefully, you know, you'll find some entertainment in it too. As far as if you want to do a DIY van build, you probably don't want to exactly copy what we're doing, because what we're doing is specific to this 2005 E350 Super Duty body and chassis, and everything we're doing is specific to our unique circumstances and needs. So it's probably going to be different from what you need to do. And if there is a problem with this, if we got something wrong, we're not engineers. We're just, I'm basically taking a lot of experience I have with building and stuff, and with van builds and things. So to things I know works, we're applying them here, and if there's a problem, we'll figure out how to fix it. So follow along. We hope you find this stuff inspiring or entertaining or useful or something, some combination of those things. But again, if you want to proceed with your own, please use us as inspiration or whatever, but don't use this as an exact tutorial on how you should do it, because it may or may not work well for you. So, all right, we're gonna get the metal out and get going. We got some roofing tar, we got screws, so we're gonna get going on this and get this metal on the roof. And I'd be recording up there. You can see me better, but the wind's blowing pretty good again this afternoon, so I'll probably mess up our audio. So We'll show you the process. Here goes. Cut towards your body, not your belly. I could open this on the end and just take the thing out, but we're trying to put it on the ground and we're going to pre-cut it. So I thought it might be easier to, maybe we can get away with leaving it in the box while we feed it out. We're going to see how that works. I could be totally wrong. Last roll of this stuff I bought was from a estate sale, and it wasn't in a box, it was loose, so I didn't have to worry about what to do with the box. There it is. Thing of beauty, eh? All right. Officially, this is flashing, but it's still galvanized steel, which is water impervious. And in the old days, if you had an old RV, I had a 1970 fan house trailer once upon a time out in upstate New York, and that thing had layered metal. I think it might have been aluminum. Same way as what we're doing anyway. So I'm kind of going old school here. I know all the rage these days is rubber, but like I said, we're not doing that for a few reasons. This is pretty durable. It's also going to stiffen up the roof for us a little bit, so we went with light plywood on the roof for weight reasons. So I think this will work nicely. It's going to be easy to cut in roof protrusions, vents, or whatever. We could have done with aluminum, which is even lighter, and believe it or not, actually a little cheaper. But yeah, if we go with aluminum, then it's going to be better than rubber, but it's still going to be more vulnerable to being punctured by tree branches or things like that. So I think this will hold up better. We'll find out. All right, so we got to stop already. First injury of the day. Look at that, huh? Melanie got my gloves out, my work gloves out. I was just moving the box to position on the ground. There was like a rock on the gravel underneath of it, so I just went to move the box. My hand slipped off the box, caught the edge of the stuff, and so now we got to stop and fix this up before I can dive into everything. So wear your gloves when you're working with sheet metal. I was going to when I actually started cutting, but you know, I didn't have them on yet. All right, we're put back together for now. Got a trusty old Band-Aid, and Melanie just reminded me, as I said, I'm definitely put on the video, because I mean, what the heck, right? This is the risk you take when you're working on your vehicle. Melanie reminded me back in my journalism days how we used to say, if it bleeds, it leads. So there you go. What are we at here? 65 back here. Safety third, as Mike Rowe would say. And the point of that is, you can't trust your employer or the government or anybody else to look out for your safety as well as you can look out for your own safety. So take precautions when you're doing projects like this. You know, wear eye protection, wear finger protection if you're doing something that might make you bleed. And so what did I just figure, Melanie? 67 inches? Is that what I said? My assistant is shaking her head at me. I think we're at 67 inches, 65 inches on the roof, so we're going to extra 2 inches, so an inch on either side overlap, which you'll understand in a minute. Because I don't have a table that's 6 feet long, I'm going to mark out a few increments on here as I go so that I can make sure I don't get confused where exactly 67 inches is. And my finger does hurt, I'm just saying. But the show must go on, so, you know, there's 36. Now we'll pull this over a little further with a handy dandy new tape measure. This thing's awesome. I'll throw a link in the video description. It's got even has an LED light on it. If you've seen the videos before, maybe you've seen that. But it's also a nice stiff blade that stands up like it's supposed to. And look, it's got numbers on the back. You'd be surprised how many times it comes in handy. And they're big numbers. I mean, amply marked so you can actually see things if you're a middle-aged guy who doesn't have his glasses on. Oh, and the lock works on it, unlike my old one. Lost my pencil. I've already got a pencil in my pen pocket on this shirt, so I don't have anywhere to put my pen. This is a handy-dandy marker from Milwaukee, but it was surprisingly cheap and it works great for this kind of project where lead does not write so well. So we're at 3 feet. There's 4 feet. All right, that's where I want to be. We picked these up at a yard sale or an estate sale somewhere recently. It was a box of tools, and some of those tools we picked up to sell, but I kept these, and I'm also glad I did because they've come in very handy so far on this project. All right, now there's different ways you can cut this stuff. We're going to try tin snips first and see how these work. If this doesn't work well, I do have a couple of power saws with metal blades that we can use, but I think this is going to want to bounce and jump and vibrate a lot if I do that, so we'll try these first and see how the old school approach goes. And if you're an old school tinsmith or HVAC worker or anything, you're probably laughing that I'm even worried about using tin snips, but yeah. There are, of course, different styles of tin snips for left-handed or right-handed and for cutting different angles, cutting right or left corners, that sort of stuff. I really don't understand all the distinctions, and I only have one pair because I don't cut that much sheet metal. So. All right, so far so good. I like it. I like it. Whew, all right. Now, the trick's going to be to climb up there and stick this sucker down. Before I get the metal up there, because there is a bit of breeze today because it's Wyoming, I'm going to grab a caulk gun we've got and put some roofing cement in it, because we are going to do the seams with that. And I'll also get a drill driver with a bit on it for some roofing screws, so we can also throw some of them in. And then at some point we'll actually have to get on the roof for real and finish it up, but I at least want to get the first piece secured down and see how it all goes. I'll try not to get lacerated again by this stuff while I'm getting it up onto the roof. Okay, so you kind of get an idea. Here's the first 2 layers. They're not all the way screwed in and everything. They'll be tarred into. Then there's another step we're going to take. There's 2 different options we haven't decided on yet. I want to see how it lays down first. We're doing it a little bit long, and then we're going to bend it over on the edges and be about an inch or so on either side that's bent over. And then we're going to have a drip edge that'll be fastened down along here, which will also be tarred in. That will cover the folded over side. That way, this will also be sealed in, but if any water does get under the drip edge, it still won't be able to get into the corner here where it could do damage. It's going to run off the side, and from there it'll run down the side of the wall of the high top here. So it's I'm trying to do like 3 levels of water protection on anywhere where it matters. So this will keep coming together. It'll make more sense, I think, in a few minutes as it all comes together. We'll be filling in the rest of the screws and stuff. But right now we're just getting enough screws in to hold everything in place where we want it and leave it a little bit loose so we can still get the cock gun under there and put some sealant and stuff in place. So. Melanie will show you this here in a second, but it's coming along. We've got 5 courses down. The metal is galvanized steel, so it's completely impermeable to water. It's also rust resistant because of the galvanization process. It may eventually rust, but it's going to be a very long time down the road. The screws we're fastening with our roofing screws, and I think I might have showed these in a previous video, but there they are. They got a little hex head on them, 1/4-inch hex head, and then there's a steel washer and a neoprene. The black ring here is a neoprene washer, and so when they go on, that neoprene washer gets squished just a little bit. You don't want to over tighten them or you blow the neoprene out, but you get it snug in the neoprene washer. It squishes a little bit and it makes a nice tight waterproof seal. Eventually, after the metal should last decades. The screws will last many years, but eventually the neoprene does break down, and if that happens and you're seeing some degradation of that, you can just unscrew them and replace them with fresh screws. They're not terribly expensive. So pretty solid roofing system. We still see this on roofs when we're doing housing inspections and stuff. As far as maintenance, like I said, the metal should last many years. The screws will last years. The spot we'll have to do the most maintenance on potentially is the seams here, which we are laying. We didn't show you on this, I don't know if we showed you yet, but we're actually laying a bead of roofing tar, and then we're overlapping the metal by about 2 inches. We're also shingling it so that the wind would have to come in this way to potentially get underneath. So if we're driving in the rain and the rain's being driven along the roof, it'll skip right over the seams and right on down off the end of the roof. Anytime you've got a flat roof, it's a good idea, if you're whether you got a rubber roof or metal like this or whatever you got, it's a good idea if you know the rain's coming or snow's coming to park on a bit of an angle, because otherwise, even with a rubber roof, it doesn't matter. It'll be the same thing with this. You end up with some low areas. Even if you think it's flat, there are some low areas and little valleys or bellies, and what you get then is ponding, where the water ends up standing there, and eventually it will find its way through. Even if only a microscopic tears or cracks that you can't see, it'll still find its way through and get to the wood underneath and start rotting and doing damage, maybe growing mold. So it's pretty hard if you're even at RV parks, it's hard to get a truly 100% level spot, and if you're boondocking, it's virtually impossible. So even if you think you're level, you're usually off a little bit. We can have the trailer totally level, or supposedly, right? And if we turn the air conditioner on in a little bit, we see the condensate from the air conditioner dripping off one side of the roof over one of the windows. If we park again, we think we're totally level, it might be dripping off the other side. So it's always off just a little bit. And if we know we're going to be getting some rain or snow, we'll just make sure the front end is just a little bit higher than the back end so that it can drain nicely and not pond much. And we'll keep an eye on it. And occasionally we may have to redo this. I think, as I mentioned earlier, there's another step we're probably going to take with this. We're just debating which one is going to be, so I'll cover that in a little bit when we're sure what we're doing with that. But it's coming along. We got a few more to go. Hopefully we've got enough sheet metal to finish. We don't have to go back and get more. I think I measured it out to be okay, but we're going to find out. And other than that, it's going pretty good. We got a good system going. Melanie's staying up on the roof, getting the tar ready and getting things ready for the next piece and helping me measure. And then I'm cutting it and bringing it, and we plop it up and get it lined up good, then move it 2 inches down and stick it down in the glue and put some screws in. We'll go back and put more screws in and do some more goop in a little bit when we're done, but for now we're getting everything secured down anyways, and one way or another get this roof done today. Okay, we're gonna quit here for today. We almost finished the roof covering, and then darn if we didn't run literally one course of metal short. So I've only got about, I don't know, 3 or 4 feet left over there. I need a good 6 feet to finish this up and wrap over the front edge a little bit. So the sun's going down, so we'll just grab that, a small roll in the morning, and finish it up. We did duct tape our leading edge here down. It's also got tar behind it, underneath of it, but we duct taped it down just to make sure the wind doesn't get under it tonight till we can finish putting the screws in tomorrow. We're overlapping, so we don't want to put the screws up too close to the leading edge, or else we have to take them out again and seal the hole and, you know, all that stuff. It's gone pretty good. I think this is going to work well for us. There are really good reasons why people might want to go with a different roofing system, like rubber or even a pitched roof. I think this is going to work for us, for our situation, and I think it'll work out well. We'll be keeping an eye on it, and you know, if we do have problems with it in the future, we'll definitely update that in a video so you all know what did not work. But this is what you're going to use for a roof covering. Is just one of many things you're going to have to decide about if you're doing a custom build project like this. Lots of things you got to figure out, because it's not like buying something that it just has what it has, or you're buying it new at a dealership, and you know, you may have a few options to choose from. This case is all, you got to figure it out yourself. So that's kind of fun though. Lets us optimize things to what we think will work best for how we intend to use this vehicle and the space in it. We're going to call it quits for tonight, get some rest. We just took a little break a few minutes ago before doing this course, and I drank like half a gallon of water. We ran the air conditioning for a bit, but it's cooling down now. The sun's getting down behind the trees, so it won't be long. It'll be dark. So we'll quit for tonight, and we'll be back at it tomorrow morning, try and finish this roof up, and we'll go from there. Now on to the next part of the project, whichever that is. I'm not even sure what we got next on the list, but there's plenty of things to get to. So thanks for joining us in this video, everybody. Hope you enjoyed this and you're finding this series entertaining, informative, helpful, all that sort of good stuff. We will catch you in the next one. Oh, and there's a link in the video description below for a playlist for this entire DIY custom van Hightop build series, the whole project. So if you want to see all the videos and how everything got done and why we did what we did, all that sort of stuff, there's a link down below for that playlist. Thanks for following along, everybody.